Hello everybody, and welcome to the second part of the Desolator reaction. And this one, as I did with Zornheim, is I'm going to be reacting to the EP by Desolator called The Spawn of Misanthropy. It's available now through Black Lion Records, so you know, get yourself a copy. We'll go straight into the actual thing, guys. We just listened to the track Illusions of Grandeur. If you haven't seen that, I'll put a link somewhere or other to, you know, guide you to it. So if you want to check it out, please do so. At the beginning of the track of Illusions of Grandeur, there was actually some spoken word. And it turns out that the phrase spoken at the beginning was spoken by Matthew McConaughey talking to Woody Harrelson, and it's taken from the first episode of the first series of True Detective: The Long Bright Dark.
I think human consciousness was a tragic misstep in evolution. We became too self-aware. Nature created an aspect of nature separate from itself. We are creatures that should not exist by natural law.
There you go. The more you know. Anyway, enough of that. But yeah, I thought I'd heard it before. Right. So, as I said in the previous video, it's a 4-track EP. I actually really like the cover art. Very reminiscent. Well, the first things that it made me think of were H.R. Geiger and H.P. Lovecraft. Lots of H's. Anyway, and we'll get more into that later, but it's very, very good artwork, and I have to say, the actual quality of it is really nice. It's got a lovely satin finish, which is actually really nice to touch. So I know it's a weird thing to say about a CD box, but it's got a really nice feel to it. Inside, it's got like information about like the band members there, and then you've got the disc there with a similar style of artwork to the front cover. In fact, it kind of looks like the portal that the creature on the front is coming through, and on the back it's got the track listing. Now the track listings are Illusions of Grandeur, which is the one we just did, Faceless God, The Sectarian Breed, and Dark Epitaph. Now I'm going to say straight from the get-go, I listened to the EP and I f***ing love it. It is outstanding. It is really exceptional. I mean, the track Illusions of Grandeur I really, really enjoyed, and it only gets better. Brilliant. So we covered Illusions of Grandeur. We can skip over that one. Then we come to the track Faceless God, which is actually my favourite track off the EP. And the track opens with the phrase Ia al-azul uge campa. I probably hideously butchered the pronunciation of that. Now, I tried to find out what it was, what it meant. Couldn't find what it actually meant, but it would be like, if it's Lovecraftian, as it appears to be, it'll be like the common chant, phrase, prayer, what have you, that they, that goes with the Cthulhu one, Ia Cthulhu Fatagan. So it's probably something very similar to that. What I did find out, though, is actually most of the sentence translates into "so ugly canvas" in Samoan. There you go. Now, I said earlier that the front cover seems to be very Lovecraftian, and it turns out I was very much on point. The song itself talks about the embodiment of evil and chaos, and refers to the embodiment of evil and chaos as the evil master of the Necronomicon. The Necronomicon being a book that Lovecraft wrote about, and also the collection of H.P. Lovecraft work, which I happen to own. Now, as you can probably tell by me owning that book, I am a big fan of H.P. Lovecraft. You know, he's a very influential writer. He's one of the leaders in horror genre. So, you know, I did a bit more research listening to the track, and at the end of the track there is a line, "Ea Nyarlathotep." Right? Now this Nyarlathotep is this guy. This is the faceless god Nyarlathotep, and he is a character created by H.P. Lovecraft and appeared in several of his works. In fact, I mean, he first came about in the short story Nyarlathotep, as you'd expect, but he also makes appearances in The Dream Quest of the Unknown Kadar, Fungi from Yuga, Dreams in the Witch House, and Haunter in the Dark. He does appear in several others, but those are the main ones that I could find. And you can actually read the short story of Nyarlathotep on the internet. I'll actually add a link below to that story if you're interested. Anyway, Nyarlathotep himself, as I said, character created by H.P. Lovecraft, and was originally described as looking like a pharaoh, which would expect the Otep at the end of his name. You know, as a lot of Egyptian gods and stuff had Otep at the end of the names. Not gods, pharaohs. And he was a malign deity who was known as the Crawling Chaos, the Faceless God, as the name of the track suggests, and the messenger for the outer gods. So, you know, with this song talking about, you know, a Lovecraftian subject matter, it really fascinated me. And, you know, before I even realised that, when I started listening to the track, I absolutely loved it. It was a fantastic piece of music. Absolutely astounding song. And then, excuse me, maybe I'll put in a little sample of the music right about here. There we go. Anyway, then comes the track The Sectarian Breed, which was, again, it was a very good track. And the name of the track itself basically suggests the subject matter of the track. It is essentially highlighting, well, this is the way I read it anyway, it's essentially highlighting like the segregation and separation that we as a race seem to perpetually enforce. It's like, whether it's racism or by class, mental ability, physical ability, you know, we always seem to compartmentalize ourselves. It's like, I'm upper class, I'm not going to deal with the lower class. I'm white, I'm not going to deal with them because they're Muslim, Asian, African American, what have you. You know, we're all part of the same race. You know, we're all on the same bloody planet. We're all as equally entitled to it as everybody else, but still we enforce division between ourselves, and it's like going back to the first track. You know, why we can't all just get along? We're killing the planet and we're killing each other, and you know, we're just like, we're essentially vermin on the planet. You know, we're not contributing any good to the planet, and we're all fighting between ourselves. So that's what I'm getting from it anyway. That's what it seems to be. And again, very enjoyable track, and I'll maybe put a little sample of it here or here. Stupid reverse cameras and all that. And that brings us on to the last track, called Dark Epitaph. It's actually the longest track on the EP at 8 minutes and 1 second. But it actually has the fewest lyrics, interestingly enough. And the theme of the track seems to be about war. More precisely, it seems to be told from the point of view of a soldier. And I mean, the song opens up, "I know only war, never peace or mercy. Death conquers all, no life in the trenches, ruins of the world, dark epitaph." So, I mean, it could be told from the point of view from a soldier, or it could actually be told from the point of view of the earth itself. You know, I know only war, never peace or mercy. Because, as I've said before, it's like, we are always, there's always fighting somewhere on the planet. You know, we're all equal people. You know, we might not all have the same money, we might not all have the same intelligence, but we all have the same right to live on this planet. And it's like, this is like the stupidity and futility of war, because eventually we're going to destroy ourselves to the point where, you know, we're going to become extinct. We're going to wipe the whole human race off the face of the planet just because we cannot put stupid, petty differences aside. You know, there's people fighting over oil, there's people fighting over, you know, we want this part of the country, we want that part of the country, hold on, this is our country, why do you want our country? Go into your bloody own country. You know, and, you know, whilst, like I said, it's very short lyrically, it does have some brilliant lines. In fact, I'll just go here. It says, "I know only war, never peace or mercy. Death conquers all, no life in the trenches, ruins of the world, dark epitaph. Strike across the front line a storm of death and steel. No quarter will be given, none asked, none received." You know, we will give no quarter, and, you know, so, you know, we won't show any mercy, and we will, you know, we won't get any mercy, so we'll not give any mercy. Multi-barreled cannons tearing tanks and flesh apart. What cannons cannot finish will be snuffed out by the gas. So whether they're talking about modern warfare and chemical warfare, or they're talking about, like, one of the world wars where they used the mustard gas, I don't know, but that stuff was fucking horrible. It was absolutely lethal. So basically saying, you know, like, no matter what we do, we're always going to find some way of destroying each other. You know, conflict beyond control, the final solution at hand. Warheads are deployed, death of mankind. You know, so that's like, sooner or later, someone's going to press that big red button, going to launch nukes, and essentially going to wipe mankind off the planet just because we cannot f***ing get along. You know, everybody's bitching and arguing about each other. Nobody can come to common ground, have an agreement. You know, everybody's always talking about world peace. It'll never be achievable, and it won't, because there's always these people that always want more. They're always greedy, and, you know. Anyway, yeah, not here to talk about politics and stuff like that. I'm here to talk about the music. But as I was saying, it is a fantastic track, and once again, I'll put an example of it right about here. Done? Did you like it? Because I certainly did. But yeah, as I was saying, you should definitely, you know, check it out. I mean, you just go to, like, You can go to the Desolator Facebook page or website, or even the Black Lion Records website, and get yourself a copy, because it's not that expensive, and it's definitely worth it because it is really, really good. The only criticism I can really give this is the fact that it's only 4 tracks. I mean, the whole EP in itself lasts about 23 minutes, give or take. It might be 22 and a half, I'm not sure. And, from the first track, it's really heavy, really hard hitting, really, really good, proper, old school death metal. And just getting really into it. And then the 4th track comes, really good, epic long track, and then it stops. And you're like, no! Because you really get into the groove of it. You really get into enjoy it. You're sort of like really pumped for it. And then it ends. And I have to say, that is the only real criticism I can actually give it. So at some point, I'm hoping they actually release a nice big full-length album, because I really, really want to hear more of their stuff, because it was fantastic. I mean, I've looked through their stuff, and they released a demo in 2010. They did a track on a split EP in 2011. And they released a full-length album called Unearthly Monument in 2013. And now, as I understand it, that was an independently released album. And from also what I understand, this was initially independently released by the band before they got signed to a label, and it has just been recently re-released through Black Lion Records. So, they've got some stuff out there, and I'm going to have to try and find a copy of Unearthly Monument, because if it's half as good as this EP, I really want to hear it. But yeah, I would say it's definitely worth getting your hands on a copy. If you're into your old school death metal, get yourself hold of, get a copy for yourself. And no, I'm not being paid to talk this up. I'm genuinely really, really enjoyed this. Yeah, so absolutely brilliant, fantastic. Check it out. Get yourself a copy. Right, I'm going to stop gushing over it now. As I said in the first half of this video, I've got my 100th video coming up very soon, and I would like some suggestions for a really awesome, epic track to react to. So, if anybody can suggest a really, really good, really awesome track for me to react to for my 100th video, drop a comment below, say, like, I think your 100th video should be XYZ, and, I'll collect all the results together and I'll see what I come up with. But other than that, if anybody else would like to suggest tracks for me to react to, or even if they would like to ask me to do a review of something, by all means, drop me a message below, message me on Instagram, and I will certainly look into it. I write down every single track that I get suggested, so if I haven't reacted to it yet, it is coming in the future. But anyway, we'll leave that at that. Pick up your copy, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.